The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies Downstream Dialogue opened at the Royal Fiesta Hotel in Accra with an electrifying atmosphere of urgency and optimism. Under the theme, Ghana's downstream oil and gas sector, challenges and opportunities. The event gathered key stakeholders including regulators, policymakers, and industry leaders, intent on diagnosing the challenges hampering the sector's growth and identifying sustainable solutions. The two-day discourse, led by some of the most influential voices in Ghana's energy landscape, explored a wide range of issues, highlighting the strategic steps necessary for industry transformation. The board chair of COMAC, Mr. Gabriel Kumi, set the stage with an impassioned welcome address, underlining the need for proactive engagement among all industry players. He painted a picture of an industry at a crossroads, facing a complex web of regulatory bottlenecks, restrictive policies, operational hurdles, global price volatility, and financial constraints. Yet, even in the midst of these challenges, he stressed the vast opportunities for innovation, strategic partnerships, and policy recalibration to reposition Ghana's downstream sector for a more resilient and prosperous future. The significance of Ghana's downstream oil and gas sector was further emphasized by the CEO of COMAC, Dr. Revson Opon, who provided compelling insights into economic impact. Contributing approximately 8.5% of Ghana's GDP in 2023, the sector plays a pivotal role in national development. He identified key focus areas for discussion, ranging from price deregulation and petroleum taxation to the implementation of the LPG cylinder recirculation model and local content expansion.
We are committed to addressing the issues raised and to fostering an environment in which our members can excel.
His vision extended to strengthening safety and environmental protection through innovative initiatives such as the Mystery Shop program.
We're coming up with a white paper that will be given to the president of the country. We're going to give copies to the minister and also the MPA and all the regulators for them to understand our issues and the way to go about it.
The keynote address by the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Mr. Godwin Kujo Tamaklo, added another layer of depth to the discussion. He chronicled the NPA's achievements over the past 2 decades, emphasizing the establishment of a solid regulatory framework governing pricing, supply, and infrastructure quality. With a storage capacity of 1.9 million metric tons, a refinery capacity of 85,000 barrels per day, and a network of over 5,000 retail outlets, Ghana's downstream sector is robust, but not without its present concerns. Among the key issues he raised was the potential cessation of the zonalization policy, a topic that sparked intense deliberation among stakeholders. He also outlined the upcoming legislative reforms under the new NPA Act, which aims to enhance efficiency and sustainability within the sector. With Ghana's world demand surpassing 4 million metric tons annually, he stressed the necessity of strict adherence to industry standards and the importance of the NPA's role in shaping a viable and competitive energy market. Underpinning all these initiatives, he assured was a commitment to supporting President John Mahama's vision of a sustainable and affordable downstream sector.
And we are also having to talk about a 24-hour economy relative to the petroleum downstream. We strongly believe that if government provides necessary security to the various petroleum service providers, that in and of itself can ensure that they operate during the night. And by so doing, they will be able to pick a few more of our countrymen. So it's a perfect blend between automation and getting our people to do the work. Ultimately, is to ensure that we don't sleep when we need to be working.
He stated that the initial phase may include deploying automated dispensers at selected petroleum retail outlets and implementing measures to ensure the continuous operation of bulk storage facilities and depots, among other initiatives. The event reached a peak when the special guest of honor, Honorable Dr. John Jinapor, Minister of Energy and Green Transition, took to the stage. His address was a mix of commendation, concern, and policy direction. He lauded COMAC for convening the dialogue at such a crucial time, reiterating the government's commitment to strengthening the oil and gas industry. He underscored the sector's tremendous growth, with petroleum consumption surging from 1,445 kilotons of oil equivalent in 2000 to an impressive 4,600 kilotons today. However, he did not shy away from acknowledging the structural inefficiencies, regulatory hurdles, and market constraints that persist. He viewed these as opportunities, challenges that, if met with the right policy reforms, could catalyze growth and stability. One of his standout proposals was the formation of a Petroleum Downstream Committee, a body tasked with overseeing crucial areas such as refining, distribution, marketing, and price formation.
There's one thing I'm clear about, is that none of us can claim to know it all, and that is a fact. So it will depend on you. We'll take your comments, we'll take your suggestions, we'll take your criticism, and that will help us to shape this sector and make it a better place. The ministry is in the process of constituting a Petroleum Downstream Review Committee with representation from key stakeholders in the sector to advise the ministry on the way forward.
The dialogue continued with a robust panel discussion on policy development and regulatory reforms, enhancing efficiency and growth in the downstream petroleum sector. A range of critical issues took center stage, including the implementation of current pricing mechanisms, challenges associated with forex accessibility for petroleum imports, and the feasibility of Ghana's LPG cylinder recirculation model. The debate on zonalization was particularly compelling, with strong arguments both for and against its continuation. Infrastructure deficits, taxation concerns, and private sector involvement in depot construction were also hotly debated, underscoring the urgent need for a comprehensive downstream infrastructure strategy.
When you look at the oil industry, especially you look at the trajectory upstream, midstream to downstream, it's a downstream that is more regulated than all the others. And when I say more regulated, in terms of Ghanaian companies, local content companies in there. So I think such an event is very important for us to be able to discuss and see how best we can make the downstream much stronger. I think COMAC have done a good thing to have all stakeholders here, including MPA. And when you look at some of the interviews that have gone on and some of the discussions that have gone on, there needs to be quite a lot of interaction between MPA and stakeholders. But I think it's a good thing, especially with the deregulation of it and local companies being part and parcel of it.
Perhaps the most striking takeaway was the call for a Downstream Infrastructure Act, a policy designed to create a downstream infrastructure fund aimed at addressing key investment gaps. The conversation made it evident that while Ghana has made significant strides in the sector, there's much work to be done to align policies with global best practices and ensure a stable, transparent, and investor-friendly environment. Other panel discussions covered topics such as promoting local content and participation in the downstream petroleum sector, energy transition in the downstream sector, safety, environmental, and fuel standards, as well as industry and banking collaborations.
I think one of the things that we need to look at or take seriously is safety in this part of the world. We don't take it as serious as we're supposed to. I think it's because there are no sort of enforcement in these areas. I think our solution that we're trying to introduce into this part would be a much more easier and much more accountable, for companies to have. One is that this AI, Vanix that we're trying to introduce into the market will help companies make quick decisions, see that these health and safety issues are being addressed on a daily basis, or even on a sort of on-time basis, practically. It is not having always somebody sitting down as an HSC manager looking at these things, but constantly via your phone, via these cameras that you have, we could leverage on that and give you a solution that will be quick, that averts risk, basically. So in looking at it, I think it would help a lot of companies. How they take it on board will be another challenge.
The event concluded with powerful closing remarks from key figures in the sector. The CEO of COMAC, Dr. Rivson Opon, passionately urged OMCs to facilitate share acquisitions by interested investors, advocating for risk sharing as the most effective pathway to financial resilience. Following this, the board chair of COMAC, Mr. Gabriel Kumi, delivered an inspiring address recognizing the collective efforts of industry leaders, regulators, and stakeholders in shaping the discussions. He announced that a comprehensive white paper capturing the key insights and proposed solutions from the dialogue would be distributed to regulators and stakeholders, serving as a guiding document for policy and industry action. As the curtains closed on the 2025 COMAC Downstream Dialogue, it was evident that the event had transcended traditional industry discussions, evolving into a strategic blueprint for the future. Stakeholders left with a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to elevating Ghana's downstream petroleum sector to global standards. The discussions have set the stage for transformative reforms, and anticipation is already building for the 2026 edition, where the industry will reconvene to assess progress, confront new challenges, and drive further innovation. Energy Ghana, local in focus, global in perspective.